A Star Destroyer approaches an unfinished second Death Star, and a shuttle lands in the main bay. Troops stand rigid as Moff Jerjerrod greets Darth Vader. Vader warns that the Emperor is arriving to oversee completion personally, leaving the officer terrified as the Sith Lord walks away. C-3PO and R2-D2 go to Jabba's palace on Tatooine, where Han Solo is held prisoner in carbonite to prepare the way for Luke Skywalker. Jabba the Hutt lounges as the droids play a hologram from Luke. The Crime Lord scoffs at the message, but eagerly accepts the droids as a gift. Lesson 1. Use diplomacy before use of force. A mysterious bounty hunter marches into the palace dragging Chewbacca to claim a reward. He gains Jabba's approval, and the hunter remains in the court, while Lando Calrissian also watches under disguise. Lesson 2. Bullies and tyrants respect boldness. While the palace sleeps, the new bounty hunter creeps into the throne room and releases Solo from the carbonite. The rescuer removes the helmet to reveal Princess Leia, and they share a brief kiss before Jabba's deep laughter breaks the silence. Han tries to bargain, but Jabba declares it is too late. Luke Skywalker strides into the palace using the Force to gain entry. Luke offers a final bargain, but the negotiations fail. Lesson 3. In the face of evil, confidence comes from inner strength and spiritual grounding. Jabba triggers a hidden trapdoor beneath Luke, dropping him into the pit to face the massive Rancor. Maintaining calmness and staying in tune with the Force, Luke is able to defeat the Rancor, causing an uproar among the shocked onlookers. Lesson 4. Victors remain calm under pressure. Han Solo, Chewbacca, and Luke Skywalker stand condemned before Jabba the Hutt, who sentences them to death in the Sarlacc. When Luke is pushed to execution, R2 launches a hidden lightsaber, allowing Luke to free his friends and fight off guards. Even Boba Fett is defeated in the chaos. Princess Leia defeats Jabba herself, and Luke joins her on the main deck to destroy Jabba's sail barge. They swing to safety on a transport skiff, scooping up the droids and speeding away moments before Jabba's vessel detonates in a massive explosion. Lesson 5. Waiting to act until the right moment is strategic patience. Countless stormtroopers stand at attention as Emperor Palpatine's shuttle lands in the Death Star's massive hangar. Palpatine reveals that his plan to trap the rebellion is proceeding exactly as foreseen. He dismisses Vader to the command ship to await Luke Skywalker. Before joining the Rebel fleet, Luke returns to Dagobah to keep a promise. He finds Master Yoda frail and bedridden. The ancient master insists no further instruction is necessary. Luke requires only a confrontation with his father, Darth Vader, to become a Jedi. With his final breaths, the teacher warns Luke not to underestimate the Emperor and reveals there is another Skywalker. Yoda closes his eyes and peacefully vanishes into the Force. Lesson 6. In the words of General Douglas MacArthur, old soldiers never die, they just fade away. Obi-Wan Kenobi appears and they discuss how Anakin Skywalker became Darth Vader. Luke is hopeful his father still holds good, but Ben remains skeptical, warning that the twisted machine Vader has become may be beyond saving. Aboard the Rebel flagship, Mon Mothma reveals a second Death Star orbiting the forest moon of Endor. She states the weapon is guarded by a shield generated on the moon, which must be destroyed for the fleet to attack. Han Solo volunteers to lead the ground assault, quickly joined by Leia and Luke. Later in the hangar, Lando Calrissian prepares to command the fighters. Lesson 7. Many problems in life require a first step before tackling the main problem. Make sure to disable shield generators first. The Rebel transport approaches the Super Star Destroyer and transmits clearance codes to Admiral Piet. Vader senses his enemies aboard, but orders the ship cleared to lure them into the trap. The Rebel strike team advances through the woods, and Han and Chewbacca accidentally alert a patrol. Luke and Leia give chase on a speeder, and eventually separate as they each defeat their own scout trooper. Lesson 8. Divide and conquer. Leia awakens from a spear poke by a furry creature. She senses the furry Ewok is harmless and makes friends with it. When a scout trooper ambushes them, the Ewok bravely creates a distraction, allowing Leia to overpower the soldier. Having defeated the enemy together, the Ewok guides Leia through the forest. Lesson 9. In the words of J.R.R. Tolkien, even the smallest person can change the course of the future. While looking for Leia, the others get caught up in a trap set by the Ewoks. The Ewoks surround them but are surprised when C-3PO sits up, somehow mistaking the golden droid for a deity. The tribe then continues to march the prisoners off to their village. Bound to spits over a fire, Luke, Han, and Chewbacca prepare for the worst. Despite pleas from C-3PO and Leia, the Ewoks continue the feast preparations. Luke uses the Force to levitate C-3PO to scare the Ewoks, and force their release. Lesson 10. Conflict is often based on misunderstanding. Inside a hut, C-3PO wins the Ewoks over with epic tales of the rebellion's fight against the Empire, causing the tribe to accept the rebels as members. When alone, Luke reveals to Leia that she is his sister, and that he must go and try to save their father, Vader. Han comes over, and Leia pulls him close, seeking comfort as she processes the revelation. Luke surrenders willingly to Vader and the Imperials. Luke explains he thinks there is still good in his father. Vader replies that it is too late for his own redemption, and orders his son to be taken to meet the Emperor. Lesson 11. True love often requires looking past the monster to see the human underneath. On the Forest Moon, Han Solo leads the Rebel strike team forward, while the Ewoks create a diversion. Han appreciates the clever tactic that allows them to infiltrate the bunker to plant explosives. However, their plan fails when a legion of Imperial troops surprises them, forcing them to surrender. Lesson 12. Strategic distraction is always better than direct confrontation. Vader marches Luke into the throne room to face Emperor Palpatine, who reveals that both the Rebel fleet and the commando team on the moon are going to be trapped. Luke is visibly shaken but stands firm. Admiral Akbar and the Rebel fleet enter the Endor system, expecting the planetary shield to be down. Lando Calrissian realizes that's not the case. When a massive Imperial fleet ambushes them from behind, they realize they've been lured into a trap. Lesson 13. Good leaders know when to change direction. Han Solo and the Rebel strike team stand captured by legions of stormtroopers until the forest comes alive as Ewoks launch a surprise ambush, unleashing primitive arrows. The stormtroopers scramble to address the new threat, allowing the rebels to break free. Imperial AT-ST walkers stomp into the clearing, blasting the Ewoks. While the Ewoks struggle against the heavy armor of the walkers, Han and Leia take cover near the shield generator bunker and desperately attempt to crack the blast doors. Lesson 9 again. Even the smallest person can change the course of the future. The Rebel fleet engages TIE squadrons, but are confused why the Star Destroyers hold back. To the Alliance's horror, the Death Star fires and vaporizes a massive cruiser. Panic spreads as the Rebels realize they're trapped against the weapon's full power. Lando leads the fleet at point-blank range against the Star Destroyers in order to evade the super laser, taking heavy losses as the trap closes in. The Emperor taunts Luke on the Death Star, urging him to give in to his hate. Luke summons his lightsaber and swings at the tyrant, but Vader protects him, forcing them into battle. Lesson 14. Anger unchecked may lead us down a path we don't want to go. Chewbacca helps two Ewoks hijack a AT-ST, providing the rebels with heavy firepower to even the odds and turn the battle on the moon in their favor. Luke tries to refuse fighting, but Vader relentlessly attacks, forcing the young Jedi to defend himself once more. Using the hijacked AT-ST to trick the garrison into opening the bunker, Han rushes inside to plant explosives. Lesson 15. Creativity and resourcefulness in problem-solving are invaluable. The shield generator detonates, dropping the deflector shield so the Rebel fleet can commence their assault on the exposed Death Star. Vader taunts Luke to provoke a reaction. When Vader discovers Luke has a sister through the Force, Luke is pushed over the edge. Rushing Vader with ferocious strikes, he drives his father back and brings him to the brink of defeat. The Emperor laughs, urging Luke to kill Vader and take his place. But instead, Luke throws his weapon aside and refuses to turn to the dark side. The Emperor scowls and promises that Luke will die. Lesson 16. In the words of Aristotle, the hardest victory is over self. The Emperor blasts Luke with force lightning, but before Palpatine finishes him, Vader grabs him. Absorbing the deadly bolts into his own body, he hurls the Emperor down the reactor shaft. The tyrant falls to his doom, leaving Vader critically wounded. Lesson 17. Redemption and sacrifice go hand in hand. Lando leads the Millennium Falcon into the Death Star superstructure while TIE fighters give chase. Outside, the Alliance fleet cripples and destroys the Super Star Destroyer Executor. As Luke drags Vader to a shuttle, his father asks to remove his mask so he can see him before he dies. Luke insists he can save him, but Anakin whispers that he already has. Lesson 18. In the words of Martin Luther King Jr., love is the only force capable of transforming an enemy into a friend. Lando and Wedge destroy the main reactor. As the core collapses, ships race to escape the massive explosion while Luke flees separately on a shuttle. Watching the station detonate from the Forest Moon, the Ewoks and Rebel commandos cheer. While fireworks illuminate the skies of liberated worlds across the galaxy to cheer the Emperor's fall, the Ewok village comes alive with celebrations. Rebels and locals dance together in victory. Lesson 19. In the words of Martin Luther King Jr., darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that.